future CAP and under the new MFF, there will be a much stronger influence on cooperation of the public and the private sector in terms of financing. There's the transitions of the farmers to finance, to more sustainability, to resilience and competitiveness. There's an enormous financing gap, so 62 billion euro of gap in financing, and this requires that all the means that we have available, the public as well as the private ones, they have to be used in a different way, much smarter, cooperating, making sure that into what we invest, we also get something back that we can reinvest.
I think we have to use whatever fiscal means we have right now, public funds, more efficiently. And at the same time, we have to try to come up with innovative ways of drawing in more finance, more investments in the agri-food value chains. And so one way one thing is obviously that we're looking at governments and public funding for the necessary investments, but certainly also the private sector plays a very important role.
Agriculture and bioeconomy are indeed one of our 8 top priorities. Financial instruments are the solution to combine the public and private sources to ensure an agriculture sector which is more sustainable in the long term. Our partnership with DG Agri led us to the creation of a 3 billion package lending envelope. It has a specific focus on 3 particular elements: the young farmers, gender equality, and green investments. The lending envelope is having a great momentum. We have already, in the space of less than a year, approved over 1 billion and signed more than 600 million.
The role that financial instruments can play in supporting SMEs in the transition is creating a better context in which they can act. Very important could be fostering the investments in sustainable assets like tractors, probes, sensors, and also innovative irrigation systems. And also they can create a better connection with the financial intermediaries that finance their activities.
The challenges of financing the agriculture to become more sustainable are manifold. Regenerative agriculture is coming as a major trend nowadays, pushed by stakeholders of the farming sector. Farming is at the core of the bioeconomy, and bioeconomy is supporting 60% of the world GDP, studies say. So what role can EAFRD instruments play in transition? Of course, all the CAP instruments and EAFRD financial instruments are super important because we should not neglect any financing tool to facilitate the access to finance for some farmers who are fragile, and to show to the market that transition is very important.
The CAP is much simpler than before because 2 funds were merged into 1 fund. That is first. Secondly, it will be much easier to access support because there are simpler rules, and also there is much simpler mechanisms for beneficiaries to access funding, like lump sums, for instance. There is also much less administrative burden, there is less reporting, and there's also much less control involved. And then last but not least, it's a largely simplified legislative framework, which leaves a much more freedom to the member states to define their own rules. Then there is a key focus on young farmers and on generational renewal. So altogether, a real comprehensive pack to support young farmers for generations to come.